What up? It's your boy B.A.R.Z. So I am going to be judging the battle between Trigger Jermaine and Venomous X. These are all my notes and so on and so forth that I took for the battle. Let's get straight into it. So we're going to start with Trigger Jermaine's round. He's dope. He doesn't speak English as great as the rest of us. So in time as he does it more, we're going to be able to understand him more. And I think that he's going to be an underdog that raises up depending on how he wants to go in. So some notes that I took reference to is the bar in reference to sending people to Heaven Gates, trying to be a Kevin Gates, where he was stating that Venomous is trying to rap. He sounds like he got dick in his mouth. If it was a wrestling match, he'd be laying down. He's a loser. He'll never be riding the W. And then he made another reference. I couldn't quite hear it, but it sounds like he was trying to justify that bar, which is dope because it shows that he's giving multis and he's trying to develop his rhyme scheme. The fucking up the rap culture and making reference to Cardi B was dope. The big belly like DJ Khaled, that was a slick line. The the Miami Clinic line, I would have to do some research on that. That still sounded dope. The committing the incest with your dead mommy, like, that's sick. I don't know if your mom's really dead. If she is, rest in peace. If he's just doing it for a scheme, that's dope. It would have been dope if you tied it in a little bit more, but that's still dope. And then, yeah, those are and the way he ended it, where he said that he's getting a body RIP like the Undertaker. That was hot. So for punchlines, I gave you a 7. I think as you enunciate more, it's going to be dope, and then I'll be able to give you a higher rating. But because it's a little hard to understand everything you're saying, I gave you a 7. For cadence, I gave you a 3. I mean, it's, actually, I apologize. That is incorrect. For cadence, I gave you a 7. No, I did give you a 3. I gave you a 3 out of 10. The reason I gave you a 3 out of 10 is simply you just have to keep practicing English. Like, there was kind of like no way for you to show a lot of cadence when you haven't mastered the language yet. So it's all good. You know what I mean? You're a student in the game. You're going to get there. Delivery, I gave you a 7. Your delivery is solid to me, in terms of your consistency and the flow. A little boring, but that goes back to the cadence and the enunciation. But you're going to get there, my G. Believability, for you, I gave you a 7, which I think is actually great. I couldn't give you a 10 because, because I couldn't hear everything you said. I couldn't fully believe everything you said because I didn't know the true potential of your bars. But still, for somebody that's doing what you're doing, it was pretty believable. So you got an overall score of 24. Let's get to Venomous. The lines that I like, looking straight into the camera to look into your killer's eyes, that was dope. The fire under your tail was get burned was kind of dope. Smack your mouth until you learn to speak properly was dope. Dropping the bars to set you free was dope. The whole Iron Man twice was interesting because you didn't really connect it in any legitimate way. The second time you mentioned it, the punch was a little bit stronger. You got to rhyme more though, bro. You're doing a lot of speaking, and the voice was kind of cool, but you need to, when you're writing, you need to write more where you can get a little bit more multis in because it's more entertaining and let you flow a little bit more. You don't have to do it a lot like other people, but you do need to do it a little bit more. For punchlines, I gave you a 5. They needed development. You had a couple of good lines in there, but you didn't have enough. You needed more. Especially if you're going to rhyme at that type of pace, you need to be landing haymakers consistently. Your cadence, I gave you a 5. It was okay. I think because of the way you wrote your rhyme, whether you were freestyling, whether you wrote it, it caused you to freestyle, so you didn't have that swag that you needed in order to switch your cadence. Your delivery was 5. It was cool. Again, because of the stumbles, it really hurt your ability to be able to deliver the way you wanted to. Believability, I gave you a 5. I liked your voice, but because of the stumbling again, it made it hard to believe your story because I didn't know where your story was going. The attack was decent. Everything you did was decent. You just need to try a little bit harder to connect. To take more time to make sure that you hit up me or you hit up Diverse with your round so we can see how you sound and help you develop it a little bit more. You got a 20. I got to give it to Trigger Jermaine 24-20. Considering the factors that he had and what he did, he impressed me, and I feel like he punched his opponent more, and his flow is better. Venomous, you do have the potential to be nasty, but you gotta take a little bit more time. And while people always talk about that, I be having too much filler, or some MCs have too much filler, I think you need a little bit more filler and make sure that your filler rhymes with your punches, and you'll be a monster. Zod out. So again, it's Trigger Tremaine 24-20.